This event was created by Montclair State University in 2014, and it has been run annually ever since. Many universities, businesses, and nonprofit organizations participate in this event to highlight the work done by women entrepreneurs during a particular week. So basically, we want to highlight the successes of women entrepreneurs. And so tonight we have the honor of 3 female founders who are able to join our panel discussion. So let us start with a brief introduction for each of them. So Kun Pontida, let's start with you.
All right. Hi, everyone. First of all, thank you for inviting me to be here. It's been my honor to be sharing my story tonight with you all on Friday night. And my name is Pami, and I'm a Sasin alumni from MBA class of 2009. And when I was about to graduate from Sasin in year 2011, my classmates and I co-founded a social enterprise called Siam Organic, or what is known today as Jazzberry, with the 2 main goals. First is to improve consumers' health by bringing this, innovative, healthy, and delicious superfood rice called Jazzberry rice to the global consumers, and at the same time to solve the poverty problem among Thai small-scale farmers, or simply giving the dignity back to the farmers. And we work with the farmers currently in the north and also northeastern part of Thailand. As you all know, is the most impoverished part of the country, or the eastern area. We work with the farmers from seed development process, giving them training on growing techniques under EU and USDA organic standards, training them on how to make fertilizers to achieve higher yields and lower costs. We work with them on microfinancing, collecting data on farmers' livelihood, and focus on how to increase their income and basically improve their standard of living. We then develop and sell the products to the consumer. And Jazzberry is a certified social enterprise in Thailand, and we are the only B Corp certified food company in Thailand. And for those of you who may not know, B Corp is a standard that verifies companies for their social impact and to balance the profit and business purposes. And from the work that we did, Jazzberry has been awarded we call Best for the World awards in the community category from B Corp for the past 3 years. And this put us in the top 5% from over 4,000 B Corp certified companies worldwide. And our product, Jazzberry brand, are now available in 9 countries. For example, the US, UAE, Germany, New Zealand, and Malaysia. And Jazzberry products and our works are now being showcased at the World Expo Dubai, which just started this month, both in the Thailand Pavilion and also the Opportunity Pavilion by the Dubai government. And from when I started back in 2011 with 25 farmers' family, we are now working with over 2,500 farmers' families. And we are not only working with international, we only did not have several international social enterprise awards, but we also work with many partners that we work with to help enhance our impact among the farmers for the past 10 years. So if anyone in the audience believes that you share the same vision, that you would like to play a part in making the impact in a sustainable manner with us, we at Jazzberry are always open for discussions, whether it's a small, tiny start like purchasing Jazzberry products, or for branding or product development, to partnership in technology, in field development that help the farmers. We are always open for the opportunity. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Kun Pami. And next we have Kun Alisa from Socialgiver.
Hi, I think a lot of people who are interested in social impact have been also reaching out to Socialgiver. We've been around for quite some time now. And Socialgiver's mission is to convert the world's spare capacity into creating social progress. And how we do this is that we have intentions on seeing how is it that we can solve basically a triple bottom line, being able to also see that there is a problem in terms of fundraising for different social projects that may not have a lot of exposure, and at the same time addressing the problem of transparency and reporting and validation of each of the social projects on hand. So the projects that the service that we have been working on are from hotels, restaurants, activities from all over the country. And if we were to see what is it that is being used is only maybe 55% of its full service capacity every single day that's being wasted in the form of unserved seats, unfilled room, and unsold tickets. And it actually adds up to 39 billion US dollars every single year in the form of these spare service capacity. And that is a number that is pre-COVID. And just to show you how large this number is, the UN estimates that it takes $30 billion to end world hunger. And so what Socialgiver does is we basically convert spare capacity into new ways of doing marketing, creating social responsibility, and at the same time, reducing costs for the brands that work with us. So if you haven't been on Socialgiver, please check us out. We're on socialgiver.com, or you can download our app on both iOS and Android. You can check out Socialgiver, but most importantly, besides getting a great deal from buying these services, know that the money that you're spending actually goes toward different social issues around the country. We've been able to get more than 500 giving partners on board right now. And our business model is that we work with these partners to pledge the service onto our platform, allowing you as a customer to be able to purchase it at the best available price, allowing us to be able to fundraise with 70% of our revenue going directly to the different social projects that we have curated. So what Socialgiver builds is a win-win-win solution where brands are able to create social impact with the service that they have. Consumers like yourselves can purchase a service at the best available rate, and at the same time being able to support somebody else in need. So how that looks like is if you were to go on holiday with your family, a one-night stay at a hotel could actually fund a child to school for 3 years. We want people to be able to support social projects that are able to provide impact, transparency, and being able to support them to continue the great work that they do. So we've been quite fortunate to be recognized for the innovative business model that we have in order to not just become a social enterprise, but in the leading forefront of building a startup that creates positive social impact. And being invited to speak in many different stages and seeing that there's so much opportunity being held for people who are jumping into the social impact sector. And so I'm very excited to be here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kun Alisa. That's a really great story. Next we have Kun Tamonwan.
Hi, สวัสดีค่ะ Hi, I'm Tamonwan, and you can call me M by short. So let me share my presentation to introduce like a bit about like what I'm doing. So I came from a company called Molu. At Molu, we want to make a circular economy a reality. So what in our mind all the time is that we asking ourselves, can we turn waste into a resource? And especially for me in fashion industry, like how can we do something about it? So in fashion industry, we know that every year in Thailand alone, we have the surplus fabric or leftover fabric more than we expected. We can even like make at least 10 t-shirts for everyone in this country, like 700 million t-shirts. So that's the huge number of the waste that we kept inside the factory. And we learned that by making product or making t-shirt, we have to go through so many processes, from farming, spinning, weaving or knitting, bleaching, dyeing, producing, and then logistic. So every process produce carbon dioxide. And for Loop, we are curating the leftover fabric or surplus fabric from manufacturer and textile mill by not using any virgin material. It means that we can cut off a lot of carbon dioxide. So at Loop, we can upcycle the leftover fabric and prevented carbon dioxide and also prevented the fabric to be sent to the landfill. So this is what the waste that we are working on look like. And we are just like the middleman, the platform that curates surplus fabric from manufacturer and matching up with the entrepreneur or smaller SME. And we put them up online so that people can access into it. And we have the different model. First is the fabric. We sell the fabric as if for the brand and designer. And we also make it into a product for corporate use. And this is some of the customers that we have been working with for a couple few years. From big corporate to university, international organization, or like environmental activists. And we have won some award. And recently this year, we just won SEED Award Low Carbon Footprint in 2021. And also we just won Creative Talk Award this year also. And we have been like covered on a lot of like social media and both online and offline, international and local. So for Loop, as I start to work with Loop, we have our target to save 1 million kilograms of carbon. And for me, as a second generation of a garment manufacturer, I always see this waste all the time, and I just want to do something about that. And Loop has become my solution and become my passion. So let me stop sharing. Okay, so for me, I also work as a, like I said, like a manufacturer owner. So by living inside the garment, living inside the fashion industry, I always want to do something that good for this world. And when I start doing Loop, I found that I have so much more matter thing in life to keep on doing. And this is what I've been doing. So just the basic of me and also my company. I feel a bit excited, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's great. And congratulations with your award. So, all right, thank you so much for your introduction, Kun Pami, Alice, and then Kun M. Next, I guess I'll start with some questions to kind of like throw it off a little bit. So first question, for you and your business, what is your definition of sustainability? Anyone wants to start first? Yeah, feel free.
I think a lot of the time we see sustainability as what we're doing now, but a lot of it has to do with about risk mitigation for what's going to be happening in the future. So I feel that on a personal level, it's really about seeing that our actions today really, how does that contribute to what the future would look like? And how are we compromising what we're doing today, being at the expense of what will be happening in the future? But on the other hand, I also see that, sustainability for me is just the status quo. We should be actually achieving a more net positive impact as well, and seeing how can people do more than just being able to justify certain parts. But it could be like a good starting point to aim for that. But we should actually be courageous enough to say that we should dream bigger.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
go ahead.
sorry.
Please go.
Yeah, I think just to expand on Louis' point, it's like, just simply on personal level, it's like if you want yourself or your body to last long, or you want your body to be sustainable, what you want to be doing with your body, you want to be exercise regularly, eating healthy food, keep positive mindset so you can stay healthy and fit when you're hitting 50, 60, 70 years old. So I think that's a simply concept of being sustainable. And for the business, I think it's the same concept. The business needs to have a clear vision, why the business need to exist, and what kind of like product and service you are offering that is superior to other in the market, but is also making this world a better place. And whether the impact is positive or negative, you have to consider all both sides of the impacts that you will have on the stakeholders. Like for example, at Jasri, we have the goal to make healthy organic superfoods become delicious, accessible to affordable to the global consumers, and at the same time helping the farmers to have a better life. And I think the key of sustainability for us is also innovation, whether it's innovation of the products that we're offering to the consumers, and also the innovation on the process that we work, what we do with the farmers. Yeah.
Okay. For me, sustainability would be both for business and myself. Like, to be sustained, it means we have to survive in this world too. Like we cannot always do good and cannot live our life, right? So to be honest, like to be sustained for me and Molu would be our business can run, but on the other hand, we still create the impact as well. Because for Molu, luckily that our business model and the like environmental impact came together. So the more we use the resource, the existing resource, it means the more we prevent the carbon footprint, and also more we prevent the leftover material to send to the landfill. So for me to do the business in like circular economy principle or circular economy mindset is the way to stay sustained. Because for Molu, we always think of at least 4 partners that will get like the win-win situation. Like the buyer, they have to have like the good quality, reasonable price, of course. The seller, that they can sell good price, reasonable price. Molu, ourselves, we can run our business, and also the environment will not like create a negative impact to them. So that everyone live happily. That would be like the sustainable model for me.
Nice. Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of like risks. When Alice said risk mitigation and like kind of long-lasting economy, and also making impact. So yeah, so that's how female founders define sustainability. So may I ask, what are your motivations to do these sustainable practices, or like as all of you have said, creating a positive impact? What are your main, what inspires you to do these things?
Can I go first?
Sure.
Okay. So to be honest, I'm not starting from passion, from like this, the starting point that I want to be a good person or anything, or like be the impact maker. Actually, I start my business with my own pain point. As I mentioned, that I'm a second generation of a garment manufacturer owner. And when I see the leftover, I just feel sorry for it. And I want to serve like my own pain. And that's the beginning of me. But when I start doing business like Molu, I learn more. I get to know more people, I get to see all the impact. Like at the beginning, I don't even know like the impact of making t-shirt, the slide that I show. But when I dig down and I learned that, oh, we produce a lot of carbon dioxide, we use a lot of like chemical compound and water, and like we use a lot resource of this world. When we learn, it cannot go back. And when we learn more, then it's become more interest, more motivation to do more, because at least in once in a lifetime, I got a shot to do something good. And I think it's the opportunity that everyone wants. Like at least if we would do something good and we feel happy about it, why don't we do it? And so it's become more and more everyday motivation for me to see how it's grow, how we can inspire others, or how we can change at least like small bit of this industry.
So basically for you, it's not like you didn't start out doing sustainability, but to serve your own pain point, you found you become aware of the sustainability aspect of your business, and you want to do like, and since you have the shot, you want to do something good, and that leads you to sustain. That's a very impressive story. Yeah.
My motivation is actually quite different in some ways. I feel that when I started, it was like my motivation was about inequality. You know, I've seen and I've experienced it myself in terms of, you know, when I do a lot of volunteer work, you get very close to people who are really at a lack of resources, lack of so many things that they do not even know that it may hinder them, or it may be would not allow them to be able to even sustain basic living needs. Whereas on the other side, people are spending in ways in which the first group would never imagine, because they do have that spending power as well. So what we want to build as a giving ecosystem for Socialgiver is that get these two groups of people closer. You know, Socialgiver is not just wanting to speak to the converted, people who already care about environmental issues, or about disabilities, or about, you know, drug abuse or mental health. You know, we are talking to people who are lifestyle spenders and letting them slowly get more, you know, in tune to the different issues that exist, allowing us not just to tap into the very small percentage of people just like those who are on this session here today, but actually the rest of the 99% that are still enjoying their lifestyle and not being able to see that, you know, it's not always at the expense of one or the other. Socialgiver wants to create a solution that allows people to be able to do both at the same time. You can still, you know, enjoy time with your friends and family, you know, going on holiday, eating out, or, you know, before COVID, we were selling everything from concert tickets to airline tickets to movie tickets to so many different things. But at the same time, letting them see that, you know, they can actually fund projects that may have no exposure. They don't have a budget to be able to reach out to you, you know, because only some of the projects that you might see on social media are the projects that can actually pay for it, right? So pay in terms of ads or finding reach or getting people to know what they do. And so we feel that why we do this as a motivation is actually creating a tool that multiplies impact over time. And at the same time, educate brands that say, hey, they want to do something good, but how can they do that, you know, with the greatest impact possible, and at the, you know, using the services that they already have on hand. So being able to tie into this new model, it really allows you to, you know, do more good with what you already love to do. And then hopefully that would actually mobilize more people, because we cannot just rely on just our small group of people who already care. And so I feel that the first clarity that I have towards maximizing impact is truly like, why did I even start this? Like, and why should Socialgiver still exist? And the reason why should be able to add direct value to creating social impact and bringing along brands, consumers, and projects with us, so that it becomes a collective effort. So I think my motivation might seem like since day one was very clear that if we can do this, then it's not about relying on me. It's relying on a system that can run on its own.
What about Jasmine and Kwame?
I had to be similar, like honest, same as Kun Em, is that when I first started, I had no idea about doing something good. If any of my friends met me 10, 15 years ago, they would bet 100% that I would never be on a social enterprise. I had a background in finance where money is everything. I went to Sasin where all my friends are amazing. They had great family backgrounds, but I felt like every day we have to try so hard to look pretty, carry brand name bags, and make every day like a runway in the school. If anyone from Sasin, you know what I mean. And but I think what we are seeking for at the end of the day is just for people to accept us and to be happy in life. But it takes a lot of effort, and I didn't know that. And once I get older, then I know that if it takes a lot of effort, it's not something real, right? Like a good relationship shouldn't take a lot of effort to be in. It should be simple and should be real. And when I start working on this project with my co-founder, I happened to meet a lot of farmers I work with. And I genuinely envy their simple happiness that they have. But yet, those people, they are stuck in poverty cycle. And, the economy and the politics reason keep them very poor. And once I started to help them, I thought, oh, I'm just like helping farmers to have higher income. But when I started to do more interviews with them to dig into more impact, I found that, oh, what we're doing is actually helping them to have a better life in terms of like I'm helping them like paying off their loans. They have more savings to buy more lands. They are able to renovate their homes. Even install air conditioning in their homes is a big thing. And their children and grandchildren start to come back and work on the farm with them. And the most important thing is for them to tell me that, oh, they are now proud to be farmers again. I mean, that's unheard of for Thai people, right? So if you ask people in our generation, oh, what kind of occupation you want to be? Oh, you want to be a farmer? That's impossible to hear. So I think that's what the impact that we're creating, that's really realize that I feel that's the motivation that keep me going into this day.
Yeah, that's really great to hear, the different stories. Like it seems like everyone, Kun Em and Kun Pami, comes more from a practical side and like kind of like unconscious side of where you didn't really aim to be a sustainable business, but at the end of the day, like what makes sense is actually being sustainable and making impact versus Kun Alice sees like the inequality in the society and try to bridge that gap together. And so I think this common theme is very eye-opening, that even if you don't starting out wanting to make impact or wanting to do to implement sustainability, it actually, it makes sense logically, in the past, that once you come along and to feel good, and then to feel good with yourself and to others that you work with, you will end up in this way regardless. And so since like each of us come from a different industry, what do you think are some benefits or challenges of doing social enterprises in your particular factors? And to what extent has being a female founder has affected those factors? Kun Em is smiling. Do you have anything to go?
No, I was just gonna tease Pami like, hey, how long do we have to make that list? So
Okay, I'm giving you less
I'm just
than
kidding.
15 minutes.
Sorry. No, I feel that in terms of like, I think our industry, at least for me, I feel that with e-commerce, with travel, the opportunity is quite large. You know, there's also already like a known understanding on using or purchasing things online. So that is definitely like a plus, so that you don't have to spend so much time educating people. But what we have to educate more of is like, there's also room to grow in terms of new approaches to letting people find it as, oh, wow, so they get a really good price and they get to make a donation all in one transaction. So that also was part of the challenge part. When your question talking about challenge was like, well, isn't it like too good to be true, where you can actually do both of that? Because they tend to think, oh, well, are you an e-commerce site, or are you a donation platform? Are you a crowdfunding site? We said we're actually the evolution of all three as in hybrid, so that all of that can happen within one transaction. And so when the concept is fairly new, it is quite a challenge to get that communication across. But at the same time, it really kind of set us a really great stage to really talk about something new. And it really allows us, even though it takes a lot of effort, like that the users would know that, oh, we're doing something actually very different, and that it's a lot more meaningful to be able to spend on our platform this way. And so, yeah, I think in terms of like the benefit and challenges are very business related or industry related. But in terms of being a female founder, I still feel that the supporters for female founders still outweighs people who try to hinder our growth. You know, I think a lot of the women within the social impact space, I've had very positive experiences for other females that want to be able to support us to be able to grow what we do, or at least give us room to experiment, give us room to figure things out along the way, because some tasks are still quite new, you know, for me at least, and giving us that room to, you know, fail and try again. It's a bit more of a, it's very forgiving, but at the same time empowering. And so I haven't necessarily singled out very significant challenges for being a female founder, but I think maybe my own context of not, you know, of self-criticism and judgment all the time might also be one of those things that conditioned me to not being able to do, you know, as much of a good job that I could be. So it's always something that makes me feel that I could always do better. And so I don't blame any outside external forces, but more so on maybe how I have been conditioned growing up. So that might be one of the situations that I can think of right now, but maybe I'll add something later after our other friends kind of,
Other
you know, share
experiences.
something, and then something will pop up.
Okay, I'll take 30 minutes to go on the challenges. No. So my business is in agriculture. Especially the rice business is dominated by the big players, you know, in this country and also in a lot of countries that we enter. So being a newcomer without any connection is something that almost unheard of. And the farmers on the farmer side, they have also been, I'll use a word like a very nice word. They have been tricked by many times by the, you know, the government policies, the traders, the middlemen, you name them, in the local area. So to gain the farmers' trust, to, you know, to really trust us that we are here to work with them is really the key challenge in starting this business. It took us a couple of years to prove to them that we really wanted to help them and not just to be here and take advantage of them. And also to survive the few years, it was the main challenge, because we only have a small amount of numbers. And in agriculture, economy of scale is the key to survive. And my co-founder and I don't have any family background in agriculture, so we had to start it off from zero, and just to try to learn, understand the farmers, but once the trust has been established, it benefits the business because now we have consistent quality of supply. We can plan the quantity of growing with the farmers every year, so that we can work on the demand in the market accordingly. And I think being a female really helps, because I think female is like the toughest human beings on earth. Especially, I just became a mother recently. I now had a 1.8 months old, 1 year and 8 months old daughter. So raising her while also working both full times really made me realize how tough women can be. And running the business, you need a lot of willingness to learn, doing new things out of your comfort zone, a lot of willingness to like persevere, even though you have very little sleep, very little holidays, just like with raising a baby. You cannot ask for a day off, and you're running business, you can ask for a day off as well. So those multitasking skill, you have to manage them in the most efficient way. So I think if, a lot of women who can relate to that, I think you already possess sufficient skills to become entrepreneurs. Yeah.
I really admire you, Pami. Really.
Thank you.
Kudos to you. I don't know how you do it.
I'm so glad that my baby is quiet now, because she was screaming before we started.
Oh, yes, earlier.
Well, I'm pursues to be in your experience too in the future, hopefully. But my niece and nephew are running around, obviously, so I quite like, no, not coming.
I thought she was your daughter.
Not yet. On the way, hopefully. Okay, so let's go back to the question. The benefit and challenge to be in this business. Well, I think to do the business, like, it's all like pro and con on everything. There is no all the benefit or everything would be like super difficult for everyone. It's not true. Like, everyone facing both good and bad day, right? So for me to do like the SE in this in my sector, I think it's the benefit, because nowadays the trend of like the fast fashion is not good, and also like the trend of like be a conscious consumer become like bigger and bigger nowadays. So for Molup, as we start to develop like the circular economy mindset into fashion industry, which is very new, I think it is make us outstanding from the normal practice. If we do more of the same, then nothing would happen. Or if I'm not a female leader, I won't be here today. So I think that's the benefit as well. Yeah. So for me, I think many people think to be like a female leader would be tough. I think it's tough, but it doesn't mean that be a male leader will be anything like easier. So I think it's all about our mindset. It's all about how much effort that we want to put into our business or into the activity that we want to do. So the bottom line is like, if we want to do it so much, if we really passionate about it, or if we really see that we are the part of the solution, then gender doesn't matter. So, but I encourage all the women to start to do something because it's fun. And for female, I think it's easier for us to get along, like to chit chat, to talk, or even like when we meet customer. My co-founder, which is a male, he always mentioned that like if we go to meet like customer, if I went there, it's easier to talk because they will be more relaxed and talk more, like be more open with female, I think. Yeah, so use that.
Yeah, I love that attitude where, you know, a lot of people would, you know, think that because they're female, they're disadvantaged. But what Kun Am just said, that, you know, actually it's hard on both genders, whether you're male or female. If you are male, then you have, you know, certain challenges. If you're female, you have other types of challenges. And it depends on our mindset in order to, you know, view the world positively and, you know, brave through it. Yeah, and for each, I'm just going to recap a little bit for each sector wherein, so like in fashion industry, it's since like you're riding the trend, right? You know, the sustainability trend is coming. So basically like being, you know, sustainable is actually a very good thing, make you outstanding from other people. Versus in agriculture, you want to establish trust with the farmers, and that will give you kind of good head start and, you know, like keep your business sustainable. Versus Kun Alice, in social giving, your platform is like, it's new, so it's also, it's a both a benefit and also benefit of, you know, the innovation that you have versus like the challenges of making people understand what's going on, and, you know, to encourage them to use your platform. And so since we already talked about like some, you know, some information about each of the sector, so what are the common misconceptions that people have about your social enterprise? And how do you tackle those, and how do you, you know, correct the misunderstanding or communicate it more effectively?
I'll go first with this one. I think after being here for like 10 years, I think a lot of people who apply to our company, they feel like, oh, because we are a social enterprise, we will be looking for someone who want to do like field development and, you know, like who wants to go stay with the farmers. But that's not the only side of social enterprise. We have an organization to grow. And social enterprise like us, we're competing with conventional business out there who are bigger and have much lower cost structure. So we need even much more capable people. But, you know, what we need is someone who really, this is like pointing finger, like, right. What we need is not someone who only not want to work with the farmers, but also to drive the business forward. Because if our business grow, that's only how our social impact can grow, right? So we need a lot of talents to help us grow. But these days it's become even more challenging, I think, because social enterprise can really attract talented business people, because, you know, tech company are much sexier and they have a lot of funding to hire people. Yeah, so I'm still figuring out a way to tackle that challenge as well.
Yeah, I think we're on the same boat regarding recruitment. I think a lot of people tend to feel that because we're all very idealistic people and that they feel that they could have like a slow life, but it's an uphill battle to, you know, be in the game on the court with much bigger players, or you're boxing at a much like different weight than what we can be resourcefully, you know, being able to gather. But I think, you know, people who feel that they can do or run as like a social enterprise just in a, you know, maybe a part-time or something that's like, they feel that it's very light work. That is a misconception. You know, if you think you will deliver less than 100%, and you think that you can make the world a better place, then I think the person who's being idealistic and delusional is definitely, you know, not what we're at. You know, we're optimistic people. We know that things can change, but at the same time, we're not like positive. We're just being realistic that it's really just really hard work. And then at the same time, we know that there are no shortcuts. You have to pay your dues. You have to be able to learn from trying and realizing that it works or it doesn't work, and you just keep going. You just keep going. And so I feel that the misconception of it being very light work is maybe something that, we really want to attract great talent, because we feel that having A players on the team attracts even more A players. And that is exactly what we want for people who want to solve different social issues that have been maybe engraved in our culture, our economy for a very long time. And so people that we want to really bring on are people who are willing to take up that challenge. And so I think it's more of like a collective effort from a lot of the social entrepreneurs that we also want to see that, you know, before we attract people who can work hard and be professional at what they do, great at what they do, we have to demonstrate that ourselves. We're not, you know, working less lightly than the people who are working with us in our team. And I think both of you would agree to that, you know, not just, you know, I'm sure that it's like 24/7. Yeah. Minus a few hours for Bami, so she has time for her kids.
I didn't even know that today is holiday.
I didn't know either. I think none of us did.
I think we are like 24/7, so it's like
Yeah.
a holiday. But okay, for me, well, my answer would be a bit silly compared with Alice and Bipami, because the most misconception of my business would be people think that mall loop is recycle, which said that we are doing is upcycle. So we not transform the material into other material, and so we just take it like that. So it actually is simpler, more simpler than you think. Like it's just a business model that we do. Another one would be many people think we sell, like when we sell like desktop fabric, many people think we sell the off-cut piece, like the small piece. It's like when we have like the roll of fabric, like, and we want to cut it into a pattern, then we have like some leftover, like the small piece. But the fabric that mall loop dealing with is like a big roll hidden inside the factory. It's like huge. We can produce like thousands and thousands of products. It's not like small pieces. So that would be the misconception that we want to fix, and we try really hard to like make them understand. And also previously we called those fabric, the inventory, as dead stock. It means like they are dead and stock. So keeping the dead is like no value at all. So like we not sell it yet, but there is no value on it. So we choose another word for the material that we use. So we call them surplus fabric. It's just the surplus. It's not dead yet. Let's use it before something like that. So that would be like the misconception that we got all the time, and people would think like the leftover fabric are something that like contain a lot of defect or not in a good quality. But actually no, because from the manufacturer level, we have to order slightly extra, like a few percentage, just in case something happen, unexpected thing happen, then we have enough material to fulfill the order. That what the industrial do. So with that small percentage, like 1 or 2%, but as you see the photo that I show, right, in the warehouse, there are plenty of leftover, but it's come from like just really small digit of like the huge order that we produce every day. So that would be thing that mall loop want to change the mindset of people.
That is actually brought up something really interesting that made me think about, you know, a lot of people see Socialgiver as like a very lifestyle platform. It's like fun, it's like lively, but technically, you know, we're actually a waste management company. We are actually not working with surplus, like Em was talking about, that's tangible, where you can open, you know, a factory and actually see things and say, yeah, this is dead stock. We got to do something about this, you know. But you know, when we talk about intangibles in terms of service, that's why there's such a huge opportunity that we feel that it takes time for people to understand that all this wasted services that are intangible are costing you money. But how can you turn that into more new funding for creating social impact. And so it became a new context that we also need to take time to get people to understand that, you know, bringing Casper to life and let them see that, you know, how can they turn that spare capacity into new types of benefit that generates more incentives for them to do good. And so thanks for bringing that up for kind of me like to reshape that as well. Mm-hmm.
Wow, intangible waste is like
it's actually around $8 trillion around the world in spare service capacity, but that is just before COVID. So the number is going to actually, you know, I'm not sure exactly what the number is, but I imagine it to be a lot larger in terms of spare capacity. But, you know, we'll see how things will go.
Improve. Yeah, I think the COVID situation is kind of, you know, if not improving, then people are learning to live with it. And yeah, hopefully things will get better. Yeah. Oh, that's really eye-opening for me. And you know, Kun Am, like for a fleeting second when you were introducing more loop, I thought you were using like the last meter of like a roll of fabric as well. So you did need the corrections from my understanding. Okay, Kaya, we have a question from the audience, which I think it's actually kind of relevant to the next question I have. So I think I'll start with the next question, and then we will go to that particular question. And so my next question would be, what is one piece of practical advice you would give yourself when you were first starting your enterprise? Or, you know, if someone else want to plan to start a social enterprise right now, what would be like one advice?
Don't do it.
Okay.
I'll advise them don't do it. And if they don't fight with me and debate about it, then I don't think they're ready.
They're not afraid.
So they really need to, like, you know, really stand up for themselves that they want to do this. Pami, sorry.
No, it's fine. I might have said the same thing. No.
I love your answer.
I think it's also like answer the question that pop up as well. I think because if you don't have the, you know, if you feel like you don't have enough background in business, it's important to build the right team. And it's not only the hard skills, but, you know, you need to be able to find people who share the same values and visions that will take the company forward the way that you want to. And I really admit that I have learned this the hard way, because I had no idea how to build the team and culture at the beginning. Maybe, I mean, the first 7 years that I run this business, I had no idea. So I just hire people based on their hard skills. That, you know, like if you feel like, oh, I need an accounting, I just hire an accountant. I need a finance person, I hire a finance person. But no, it doesn't work that way to run a social enterprise. You need the people who share the same vision and mission, because those people will commit to build your company. So, you know, just the person who asked, I think you need to have your team ready before you start a business. It doesn't matter if you don't have an MBA background. Everyone should possess an ability to learn new things. And I mean, business is not hard. It should be logical. It just, you know, you can learn new things every day on the website, on YouTube, on any courses online. I learned a lot of stuff online that I didn't learn in school, and I'm using a lot of that today in running the business. And once you have the right people, no matter what job position, title you give them, or how much salary you give them, they will be the one who drive you to achieve your goals.
Okay. For me would be like one thing that I talk to my co-founder all the time, like at least like at the beginning, before we start more, like before we really like go with it. Don't fall in love with your first like decision or the business, because it can be changed all the time. It's the, like when you go with it, you learn more, you have more experience, you see more thing, you have more opportunity, maybe you can, it's okay to pivot. I just learned that word from my co-founder. I never know that word before. And he said like, oh, we have the first pivot. And I said like, what is it? So at the beginning for Molu, we think that Molu would be like a platform that sells the leftover fabric, right? The surplus fabric. Put it up online, and once we launch it, everyone gonna love it because we do the survey, and like the designer and brand love it to like shopping online, so that they don't have to go to the local market, and every purchase they create an impact, and we think it's gonna be like Rockstar, but in reality, when we do the collection, it takes longer period of time. It's not like they buy it every day. They might take one time and then 3 months later they come back. So if we stick with our first idea to sell just the material, we might not be able to survive until now. But we change once we develop another solution that we can also upcycle those products for organization such as Sasin University that like order the polo shirt from us. We help matching that, and we ask the manufacturer to like make it into a polo shirt and then send it to the organization. So we have another business model. And when COVID came, we sell a lot of like face masks like this because we know the factory that do the PPE, the usable PPE. So we know the material. We know what should be the material inside to make it more like high filtration rate or more comfortable. So by that, we also change to survive. So if you fall in love with the first thing that you think and you don't open yourself for the opportunity, then it's unlikely that the business will survive. So my advice for myself and for others would be open and don't like stick with just one single solution and think it is the best. Like many people have different experience or different background, so the way to get the solution would be differently. So just something like that.
Wow.
In all seriousness, like I would actually, advise that, you just need to try and kind of see where it goes. And I think that is exactly a part of the evolution, like Em was talking about. Like what you do evolves, and you have to be willing to change, because I think a lot of entrepreneurs are quite stubborn, and righteously so, because a lot of people would tell them not to do it. But if you were to do it, you basically take responsibility, both the good, the bad, and the ugly, to what will come. But at the same time, never do it at the expense of being mean or hurtful to anyone just because you want to succeed. I think a lot of the time, even though it's very high competition, at the end of the day, I really value relationships with people. And when you value relationship with people, you know that it's not just about business. Any recommendation that we give is because we truly care about them and how they could actually make the most out of their decision, a business decision that could positively impact other people as well as their own business. So being able to, give a strong professional recommendation on working with Socialgiver. At the same time, we feel that one of the most important things is also, having integrity with the people that you work with. And that is something I think you need to just be very intentional about it.
It's really great, Kai. Yeah, we have actually 3 questions, and all of them are interesting. So I think I will, read them out, and so that the panelists can answer. So for the first one, which Akunpami answered partially already, is the question is, to be successful in the business, if my background is not related to business at all, do you think I need to take the further degree such as the MBA? If it is not necessary, what are your suggestions about the skills or specific traits I should acquire. Personally, I want to do the health tech startup and I have the healthcare background. Okay,ค่ะ. Any?
Get a partner.
Like anybody can answer? Okay.
Yeah,
My
anybody?
answer would be get a partner. Like if for me, if you don't know the business, like if you don't have the background on the business that you want to do, get a good partner that have knowledge about it. Because like to build business is super difficult to be like to be know it all. Like you cannot do every single thing in the company, right? So if you really know that one thing that you don't have in the background of the business, find a partner.
Who knows business?
Yeah.
Find a partner
I
who
would
knows
vote for
business.
that as well. Yeah, I would vote for that. Of course, finding a partner is also not easy, especially somebody that you can trust and that you're on the same page. But I think communication is one of the key things so that the partnership would actually work.
Okay,ค่ะ.
I think I probably answered that already. So
Yeah. Okay,ค่ะ. Next question would be from Kun Sid. So said, are all your companies self or family funded? Did you receive any outside investment? That's a really great question.
mine is self-funded.
Okay, so just
I'll go second. It's okay.
That's very self-funded. Yeah, I don't have any family support on this. They were the one who told me not to do it at the beginning, and they thought I would fail. And they didn't expect it to last 10 years. Yeah, but they're very super supportive now. Yeah, so
you proved them
all
wrong.
good.
For Monu, we start from winning like second how to say, like the running up second place
Oh,
of the
prize.
competition, the NIA business plan. So we start with 50,000 Thai baht grant. That the starting money fee. That's it. And now we are here.
Oh, and it goes on from like the business, the revenue itself. And that's how you attained.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. What about Socialgiver?
Socialgiver is also self-funded. Family also said, why are you doing this? Why are you leaving your corporate job to do this? So of course it must be self-funded in that sense. And also going on competitions help. Nationally, internationally, I think because of the appeal of the Socialgiver model, allow people, of different cultures to, find it very relatable. And so that was actually very helpful for us to also kind of bulletproof what we have, not just because as co-founders, we think, oh my God, we have an amazing project. No, go get shoot down by other people. Let them ask really hard questions to you. Find time to embarrass yourself in front of people who actually don't know why you're doing this. And so I think that actually allow us to, hopefully see which way would we want to
yourself.
Grow. Yeah.
Totally agree. Totally. Like
and I think like
we also in the first year we also participate in an incubation and to get like a good question, to get people to judge us, because otherwise we will fall in love with our own idea and stuck with it. So to be in a competition make us realize like whether people will understand what you do or not. So at the beginning, before Monu get grant, we are just like the business plan competition. So just the business plan. And we think that if no one understand or we didn't get anything, then maybe it doesn't work, right? So after done the competition and we got a second place, we just like the slide, we don't even have like the real business at the time. So it means that there is someone understand what we are doing and see value of it. And then we develop from that.
Wow,
So,
that's a great tip.
if I don't mention this, then my professor at Sasin will complain about it because we started
Okay.
off as business plan competition at Sasin, and we won the award in 2011. We also won an award in Canada, Stu Clark Investment Competition, and we thought, with the right business plan, oh, we won many awards. Then we went on to do business. And for a couple of years, we didn't know. We just were busy with the farmers and didn't go on any business plan competition. So I think like a couple of years down the line, we went, oh, maybe we should go compete just to see if people understand what we do. And right away, we didn't even pass the first round. We got shot by so many tough questions, like I said. People didn't understand what we did. And so that really like woke us up a little bit. So we had to redefine a lot of things we mentioned. We went to a competition in Singapore that year, and the judge didn't even get us past the first round. So we were like shocked because we won the competition before in Thailand, in Canada, even went to the final round in the US. So we thought we had a solid business plan, but no, in the real world, it was not like that. So it really helped us down the line to go compete internationally at a global level, and it also helped to redefine our project, our impact each year, to help us focus that we are still doing what we aim to do in the first place. Yeah.
Oh, that's a great trick. So, you go to competitions, so you have people validate your idea.
And also you will be able to find potential partners that will help you to grow on the national levels as well, because those people will be like, judges, or even like mentorship program they offer. It will help your company to grow in the way that you cannot imagine.
Okay, oh, that's a great lesson for me as well. Okay, we have a lot of interesting questions over here, so I guess I'll just go over the Q&As from the attendees. So next from Kunatanut, I have an idea to do a startup, but I don't feel confident to start alone. Do you have any suggestion to deal with this kind of feeling? Okay, Kunalis, please go ahead.
Just keep talking to people. The reason why you feel alone because you don't, communicate your idea to a lot of people. And then sometimes it's not as if by jackpot you will find like a co-founder immediately. Sometimes it takes time for you to kind of rehearse your idea and think it through when you talk to different people. And so when I'm not sure if you guys or maybe Kunatanuch has heard about elevator pitch, where you actually pitch a very quick way about your idea to someone. Well, elevator pitch for me, I literally take it to the elevator. So I live in a building and I talk to strangers in my building and I literally elevator pitch random people. I've made a lot of friends from that, but putting that aside, it actually allowed me to practice and start to feel like maybe if you had an idea, you always feel that your idea is so important, and so many people were telling, oh my God, if Socialgiver, you tell people what you're doing, they're going to copy it. Well, it has been a very long time and nobody see that it's that easy to execute it, right? So, it's good. I think the most wonderful thing is that you are aware that you are not confident about it, but always remember that everything is impermanent. You're feeling about yourself that you're not confident, on one day you will feel very confident. And certain things in your life will make you not confident again. And you just need to know that this will always be a cycle that will keep happening. And remember that even if you had to do this alone, do you still want to do this? This is one of the key determinants of when you face with team members that maybe it doesn't go according to your way, even co-founders or co-investors, and anything. How do you be able to deal with that down the road? So this is a really good start in the beginning for you to really question yourself that if you were to start alone, you can just start talking to people. asking really good questions. And at one point, you might be able to put yourself in different environments where you will maybe find a co-founder, or even if not, you might find opportunity. And by then, you might have the courage to say, you know, I will just keep trying. And one thing will lead to another.
I think it's if you still keep that feeling and you don't start to have any execution, it will be just a feeling forever, and you will have like self-doubt because you never actually start implementing it. But if you took the step, you know, like take the first step and get yourself into that position. I myself was not confident at all in my business in the first couple of years. I didn't know what I was doing, but after it, I can see what is happening, the product launch, you know, impact created with the farmers. That's where I started to feel like, oh, this is real. And that's when I started to gain more confidence. You know, we always have this kind of feeling, but it's very important to make things happen.
You can't win if you don't play, right?
I agree with both of you. And if talking to the stranger is difficult, talk to your friend. Like, for example, Molu, my co-founder Pipon and I, we were friends for like 10 years, but not a friend, like close friend, but we have each other Facebook. And my starting point would be when I looking at Facebook and I saw him posted about his ex startup that like won some competition, which is a marketplace, and I want to learn like what is the marketplace. So when you don't confident about what you're gonna do and you see someone that you know maybe do something that's similar or like just ask. So I call Pon and I asked him nicely, how are you? And I just asked him about like, what is the startup? What is marketplace? And I learned from him. And I also learned that he no longer working with the previous startup. So instead of asking him a question, I asked like, hey, I also have the West, because we always say like more look start with pain and passion. Unfortunately, I'm the pain part, so Pon would be the passion part. So he want to do something with the waste management. And when we talk, I mentioned him that I also have waste, which is called the surplus fabric. Back then we called it stock. So I have waste, is their stock. Would you like to come and look and see how can we do it? Something like that. So from that, we become partner after. It's not like I pitch him or he pitched me. We just like see the problem, and also we have some like same vision to reduce the waste or manage the waste. So by conversation, by talking, then it's become business after. It's not that I have the full business model, like full pan, or he has it. Yeah, but it's come after.
Okay. Oh. See, okay. So basically the advice is talk to a lot of people and be open. Okay, okay, next one is a pretty long one, but so anonymous attendee asked that I want to know how you can recruit the right people to join your team. So I used to do some startups. The first startup seemed nice at the beginning. We shared the same goals and visions, and then some of them changed. Then we have to stop doing that startup due to a different mindset. The other startup, I also met a co-founder that was not sincere and caused some problems to destroy our project. So I feel really hurt and don't know how can I find a team that share the same goals that I can really trust. Okay, I'm really sorry, but yeah, let's hear some advice from our panelists.
I'll go first. So I think for this is if you recruit the team, you need to have like, you know, the shared values and culture that you want to build. You have to have that clear in your mindset. And if you feel like the team that you recruit don't have that, you need to be able to get rid of them very quickly before they destroy the whole team. And I learned this the hard way. There was a time that Jazzberry has like 14 people, and we made a mistake. We let the people with the wrong mindset stay in the team, and it built negative feelings. And at that time, we had to get rid of everyone. So we were left with only 2 co-founders doing all the work, and we started to build a new team from scratch. So we found it a hard way, and so our recruiting policy is now changed. So we recruit not only based on the skill set, but based on the values. And we have to set that from different organizations have different set of values. You need to be able to define what are really the values and culture you want to have in your team. And you recruit based on that. And if they don't fit that, don't hire them. Yeah.
My answer would be very simple because I think my organization is the smallest here, and we just run for like 3 years. So I also have that problem as well. And Pinnaree is giving like a really good advice. I will learn from that too. I think to get people, like we are so small. We start with just 2 people, and now we have been double up like 4 people. So we have 4 people, including me and Pon. So we are still small, and it's very difficult for like a small company to get like to hire someone. It must be those who value the same thing, or the talent. Like it's difficult to get the talent because we are small, and we don't even have like the job description because everything changes day by day, and there are so many things that we still have to do because we are so new, and a lot of challenge as well. So I think for us that we got like these 2 like value people is that we talk and also see that our chemical is like match or not. And also we learn that what is the type of people or what they are good at, and allow them to show their skill and work on their own. That's what we do. And like, because I think many times that if we don't talk, or if we don't measure the pace, like we, for example, if we running, we could not run at the same speed all the time, right? So we have to know like who walk faster, who run faster, who do it slower, and try to like synchronize everyone so that the company can moving forward. But anyway, we just have 4 people, so it's difficult for me to.
No, I only have, I don't give the wrong impression. I only have 6 full-time people, not including interns. So I'm not much bigger than yours. But you know, like a lot of people thought that, oh, Jazzberry must have 10 plus people exporting to 9 countries, 6 people doing the work.
Yeah. So it's okay to be
sorry.
small.
It is, and you know, to say to anonymous attendee, I'm sorry you had to go through what you had to go through. But with any type of relationship, whether it's within a startup or in other types of relationship, you will be in some way disappointed. But I would say don't try to think that past occurrence would always reoccur again. So don't limit yourself to whatever has happened to you, but at the same time, let that allow you to, be also mindful about what questions you want to ask before you join any startup, or about sharing goals, or having we as a team before me as what do I get now. So I think I hope that would also kind of allow you, now that you shared this with us, that it's more common than you think, and that I hope you can get past this.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I think we only have time for one last question.
Maybe Kun Paul question.
Yeah, it's compulse. But I think for for panelists, like if you find the other answers that you can type, maybe we can you can feel free to type the answers for them as well. But anyway, so we have about 7 minutes left. So let's go for Paul's question. As social entrepreneurs, what changes would you want to see happen in Thailand? In parentheses, educational, legal, venture capital, etc., to create a healthier and more active market for social enterprise.
This is, I think Paul just gave the answer by himself. I think I want to see the change in Thai education so much.
Legal in venture
find
capital.
We find it so hard to recruit people with the right skill, with the right mindset. And like people who graduate without any work experience, without knowing what they can contribute, but asking for higher salary and asking for work-life balance. That is not how this country should be built on. So I think having a lot of issues with graduates from, I face during interviews, I feel like we need to really change education in this country. I work with a lot of interns from overseas, whether like India, Canada, the US, or even in Europe. They never ask this kind of questions. They never ask like, oh, how many hours should I work per week? Can I get the weekend off? How many days of holidays should I get? Maybe the German would ask that, but European Union thing. But but if they need to work, they're responsible to get their work done. They're responsible for what they do. But I really feel like in Thailand, we have problems doing that with our education. Yeah.
I think to add on to Bami's to kind of challenge the education aspect. Actually, Kun Paul's question is very good because it actually oversees what can we do together as a bigger picture to drive a market for social enterprise. But I think that before we can actually even have legal, which is now still in the final processes, but venture capital that is ready to invest in companies that have a social mission, but it is all driven by the people, just like what Bami was talking about. I think it actually digs down even beyond education. I feel that it's all family structure as well. There are social norms on what is it that defines success. And that actually allows it to be quite difficult to find the right talent that can deliver their skills to contribute to where we want to grow the social enterprise. Because you need to be able to have a very strong team in order to also push forward to get financial support, And so I feel that I've made a recommendation before when we were discussing regarding policies for social enterprises, is that what if in terms of funding for many other social impact direction, one of it could be about subsidizing the gap of salaries for social enterprise people who are working in social enterprise. So imagine if somebody who has a salary of maybe 50,000 baht in a private sector, but if a social enterprise is still in the early stage, maybe cannot afford that level of salary. So is there a way in which you can fill in the gap for a specific amount of time to get a product to be able to be developed to the stage in which you can achieve a level of like testing? And so the way I see this is that you wanted to be able to attract the right talent, but at the same time, you might not be able to have the capital up front immediately to be able to produce a product or a prototype that could be tested to the level where you can receive investment or have some sort of level of traction. And so you're relying on people to take huge, like in some ways, sacrifice for seeing growth first, which of course, a lot of the time, it also helps screens out people who are not serious about it, but at the same time, to be fair, there are some people who need to also take care of their family. So we have to be mindful about people who have to make certain sacrifices when they're maybe not financially ready, but their heart is really in it and they really want to do this. And so I think that could potentially be one. I'm sure that there was one of the countries I've read about their policies being able to push forward the startup and the social enterprise scene by doing this like subsidy for gaps of salary. So that could be potentially something, just an idea, of course. I'd love to hear what you guys think about that as well.
It's a great idea. So my answer would be like, for the government policy. Actually, country, even though we do it so hard, we all 100% want to do it and be on it. But if government doesn't support, then it's super difficult to survive, not only in our country, but also internationally as well. So I would suggest government to have a vision to support social enterprise, because at the end, all the benefit will come back to the country, because we helping our people, our country. So yeah, and I agree with the subsidy of the salary.
I think seeing adding on what 2M was talking about, what if there were incentives for companies to become our customer,
Yes,
so not just giving us the grant, but actually, not giving us the funding directly, but actually giving the power to a potential customer. And then that allows, new ways in which we could also say, hey, everyone wants to be able to see how we can work together if we can deliver our product and services right. And so I think that's a very interesting thing. And I think it's a model that Singapore was implementing.
And it doesn't have to be like 100%. It's just like some percentage of the budget of the company that support the social enterprise. That would work too.
Yeah, I think to add on to like Kun Paul's direction where he wants to, from what I've seen, he's been like a really one of the key supporters in the social enterprise scene as well. Like recently, I think he's more interested in the space. So I would also say that, standing up for a lot of the social entrepreneurs and paving way for other venture capitals to see that, beyond just return on profit, there is maybe giving more weight to the return on social impact. Would that be something that the culture of investing would also place importance on? So I don't know the direct answer to what could happen, but with people who are key decision makers in education or legal or government or VCs, like every little bit helps. It helps move the needle for us to be able to get there. I know a lot of us have started way before the social enterprise being coined as the word social enterprise in Thailand. And if we have waited, we would have waited 6 years. So I feel that let's do what we can with whatever we have. And of course, if any of us can think of more answers for Kun Paul, then we would want to be able to voice our new ideas.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, our time is up. So yeah,
we can also type answers, right?
Yeah, please. Well, I'll do this like 1 or 2 minute wrap up. Yeah, because like our time is already up. So, and we still have, we do have a lot of interesting questions in pipeline. But I'm so sorry that we couldn't go or like through all of them. But anyway, thank you so much for your amazing like insights and lessons and vision. Today's panel, one thing I learned a lot of things, but one thing that I'm sure is that like, I'm feeling very optimistic of the social enterprise scene in Thailand, especially like with the female founders. So thank you so much, Kun Palmi from Jazzberry, Kun Alice from Socialgiver, and Kun M from our Loop. And hopefully we can, organize this kind of session again. I know next time we have to spend 3 hours. And thanks for all attendees and your great questions. And I hope, we can start doing our little bit to, make the world a better place. And so thank you all for tonight and hope you have a good, great long weekend.
Thank you.